I'm Scott L. Miller. It is a Tuesday. It is the 9th of December, and this is the live stream. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a big thing in the news coming from the United States today. It is that the U.S. has decided that it is going back under executive order to using all Times New Roman font. This may seem extreme to some of you that there is a need for an executive order to choose a font for things from the government. And why did they use it? Let's give it some legitimacy. Why was anything being used other than Times New Roman? We should have something that is classy and timeless and open and free for everyone to use and works on every computer and works well in print and on screen. And so Times New Roman is an excellent choice. It absolutely makes sense. Probably better than Arial. It's a little bit more taken seriously. Looks definitely better if you had to print it out for any reason. So we can give kudos for choosing a reasonable font, and of course there is an efficiency for having a single font for all things. But this brings up a very funny circumstance. We're going to be talking in a second about the same thing here in Nicaragua because it is pretty funny. Hey Brian, I see that you are on first. He says make up your mind on the live stream days. A reminder to everyone, we do a live stream every Thursday and we do a long format. Today we're doing a short format. Sometimes we do these ad hoc because they're fun. We get a lot of people on and it makes my life easier. I'm currently binging Stranger Things with my daughters. We are on the last episode of season 2. We've seen it before, but we're watching all the way through with the plan of that we are going to make it probably quite a bit before, but we are aiming to finish the second time through the first half of season 5 just before Christmas, so that we won't watch on Christmas when it releases, but the day after Christmas we will watch the next set of episodes that get us up to the final episode, which will come out on New Year's Eve is the plan. So we will be watching those. Hello everyone, we got a whole bunch of people jumping on, so happy Tuesday evening to everyone. So we're actually taking a quick break in our binging for the evening. I am doing some work in the background, not while I do the live stream, but while I do Stranger Things. I have a relatively new project I'm doing for my kids on my off hours, which is pretty fun and interesting. We are just waiting for people to get on. Brian says the first half of it was great. It was. I was very happy for the most part. Not happy with the computer graphics. Pretty bad. Pretty much every time someone had to be altered anyway, they looked like Gollum. But other than that, it's been really good. Janet says, hey, this interrupted listening to Weird Al Yankovic doing a cover of a song in a live concert by Rage Against the Machine. It created some kind of controversy, which is pretty funny, actually. All right, so people are on. And we're not going to take a long time for tonight's live stream. It's really, as I sometimes do, live streams instead of pre-recorded, because I don't have a chance to get pre-recorded, because when I do the pre-recorded, it takes just a lot more time. So I had this time where we're taking a break from Stranger Things and getting this uploaded. So Brian says of the new season, I mean, yes, yeah, absolutely, the new first season. But the computer graphics in the new, like, it's not as good as the old ones for the look. The acting is good, the writing is good, I'm happy with the story, but some of those effects are phoned in. I don't know what happened. Going back and watching the old ones, like even 9 years ago, a lot of the effects look better than they do now. Have that effect of Lord of the Rings, where like it looks like a video game. Yeah. Anyway, so the United States just announced, this news came out like minutes ago, that the U.S. is mandating Times New Roman as the font of America, and all government agencies apparently have to start using Times New Roman. And as I was saying before people jumped on, this is actually not that dumb of a thing. Like, it kind of sounds ridiculous. Like, are they seriously mandating a font? But the reality is that it requires time to make decisions about fonts in every document, everything. And if you let people do that, you end up with meetings where people discuss fonts, people making weird decisions, right? As soon as you do that, someone's downloading 1,000 fonts and spending 2 days on Google Fonts going through and changing their document to every different one to see which one they like. And they may come up with a really good one, and in some cases they're going to come up with something insane, and you're going to be like, why? Why do we have to fix your fonts now, right? So having a very good professional font that everyone can read and looks nice and can be printed out and looks good actually makes a lot of sense. So while I may not agree with the need for an executive order for it, honestly, as a government, it's one of the best things that's happened. Minor, of course. Why don't they fix the time zones instead and do something really meaningful, okay, I get it. But it's on its own. If it was the one thing being done, we should actually step back and go, no, that's actually pretty good. Yeah. So the funny thing is, living here in Nicaragua, we're much more aware of this. I don't think most Americans are aware of the fact that the government has or doesn't have fonts or anything of the sort. It's not something you really stop and think about under normal circumstances, mostly because the U.S. primarily uses something really close to Times New Roman. It's a generally non-mentioned kind of font. Who really cares, right? But as an international traveler, if you return from Europe, for example, it is quite noticeable that the United States chooses a serif font versus Europe, which is almost universally a sans serif font region. All right, so as soon as you're in Europe, it's one of the things that most people don't catch, but they get a sense of being in Europe. And it's the incredible use of certain types of sans serif fonts that really hits them, along with the kilometers and euro currency and other things. But it's always stood out to me how much the U.S. uses serif fonts instead of what Europeans do. Well, here in Nicaragua, we have a very funny situation where we have two things. One, we have a government color. And some of you are going to jump on, well, isn't it the blue and white of the flag? And some other people are going to be like, isn't it the red and the black of the other flag? And the reality is, it's neither. All government buildings are in Pepto-Bismol pink. And I don't mean sort of like Pepto-Bismol pink. I mean, if you threw a bottle of Pepto-Bismol at the side of the building, no one would know. These are everywhere. Every government building has the same incredible pink color on it, and the upside is it really does make the government building stand out. You're like, is that a private office? Nope. Look at that pink. Nobody's doing that as a business. That is not a good business color. And it's not necessarily a great government color, but it sure helps people identify government buildings very, very quickly. And also, all government fonts, just like the United States has this mandate to use Times New Roman, Nicaragua uses Comic Sans. Yes, they do. Comic Sans is not just used for the documents that are printed, it is also used for the banners on the government buildings. So if you were to go up to a normal government building, this could be a hospital, this could be a tax office, this could be a police station, a memorial, anything of the sort, you're going to have this Pepto-Bismol pink with generally white lettering, and the white lettering will be in Comic Sans, which for some who don't know, Comic Sans is actually one of the most readable fonts, one of the best for people who have dyslexia, for example. It's just easier to spot the letters, supposedly, but it looks a certain way. And seeing it on government buildings combined with the pink and white is so extreme. And you get used to it here. You get used to seeing this font and seeing these colors on printed documents, on legal paperwork, on filings of all sorts. Like, it's absolutely everywhere. And when you first get here, it's one of those things that hits you. If someone's like, oh no, this is a government building, you're like, what? Like, it's pink and Comic Sans. Like, it's so striking that it really stands out. And but if you go to the U.S. and see Times New Roman, you're kind of like, I don't know, that's just a font. Like, it doesn't catch your attention. And going to Europe, it only catches your attention by being different, but not for being anything in particular. But being Comic Sans in pink is just really something. It's quite... But again, it makes everything very readable, and it's very easy to identify when it's a government building, but wow. So I just wanted to bring that up as one of the kind of funny, unique things. You know, people talk about what are the shocking things that hit you when you come to Nicaragua, and there's a lot of them, but this is one that's really easy to forget, but really easy to articulate incredibly well, just how clearly it is different than anywhere else I've ever been. I've never been to any place in the world that uses this color or this font for much of anything, and it's truly wild. I'm actually going to grab a picture if I can. Now, when they do signage, like they actually have a sign, then it's a little bit different. Right? Like, you may not always have the... No, I can't get the window to resize. There we go. The font is not always available for printouts. right? So you may not end up seeing it all the time. But in other circumstances, you easily will. So I'm going to try to show this to you in a couple different situations. This. Oh, yes, there we go. I'm just doing a web search for this, right? So it's going to be. So here we go. Make it a little bit bigger. Notice the Gobierno de Reconciliación y Unidad Nacional is the font, and El Pueblo Presidente is the color pink. Now this is just a logo on something, so it's a little bit different. We're gonna try to find some pictures of buildings so you have an actual idea of what you might see in public, because this stuff is surprising, right? It's just such a different take on what things are going to look like, what norms are for so many things. I'm actually going to take a look at this one. Oh, yeah, I got to scroll it up a little bit. But look, you got a lot of... There's always another color with it, right? You can't be just pink. But that pink is always there. Sometimes you get the blue and yellow. They go together. But the pink is the real dedicated color. Oh, this is... I'll try to get this. There we go. Here we go. Boom! Ministerio de Salud. This is the health ministry. There's the font. There's the color. Notice I'm just doing searches online, which is really hard to find things in Nicaragua online, and still it's this easy to come up with these. Like, this is wild. Now, I want to find pictures of the buildings. That's a much harder, because I don't know what to search on to get them. Of course, that's going to be much harder. Oh. This one gives you a little bit of an idea. Not the best example, but look at all that pink on the building. That is a hospital. I'm not sure which one. The Centro de Salud Ernesto Hodgson. I don't know where that is. Here's another one. This is... Oh, you get a lot of health ministries, but there's another hospital, a small rural hospital, I don't know where, in El Corral, in the famous pink. If you've seen where I have filmed in downtown, next to the Hilton Hotel, you have there's a health ministry right there. Here's another one. The reason I'm getting all health ministry in these is I actually searched for it because I wanted a government office. I actually searched on those. There's the banners are always printed in that pink. You really do. You can see the color. The flag behind is blue and white, but you got this. Whenever it's a government office, it's got all this pink going on. It's something. And it's not new. It's been around for a long time. Here you can see some of the blue and yellow as well. There's so many pink buildings. It's so funny how many pink buildings are just everywhere. And once you live here, right, you get used to it. So you stop realizing that everywhere you look is something that's completely pink. But you drive the streets and there it is. Janet says, I put a copy of the new hospital in Leon from Facebook in your chat. Oh, I'm going to go look for that. Oh, perfect, Janet. Will this come up? I don't think it will. It's going to show the wrong thing. Okay, I've got to switch my source for that. I just did the wrong thing. I just showed you the same thing again. I have to. Perfect. This is what Janet just sent. This is the new hospital in Leon, the big one. The really fancy, giant, largest hospital in Central America. Look at how pink that is. So pink. Not a little pink, really pink. Hot pink. Yes, it is. It is hot, wild, Pepto-Bismol pink, which there is a practicality to all of this, absolutely, but boy, is it not what we were expecting at all. Now I want to find, I'm going to try to look for something else. I want to find some of the banners because I know lots of places that we go have the big banners out front in. There we go. This is a good example. Not quite as pink. Let's see if I can swap it over. There's the Comic Sans on the new university. This is the brand new sign. That was the one that was UCA, is now the Universidad Nacional Casimiro Sotelo Montenegro, which is across the street from the UCA terminal where you catch the shuttle buses around. And that's all Comic Sans on that university. I'm having a hard time live coming up with some examples of buildings, just because no one goes around taking pictures and posting and labeling these things, so it's very hard to show. But it's very funny. So Comic Sans and Very Pink are, oh, here we go. This is a really good example of, because it's not cut out letters, it's actually a printed banner, so they can use whatever font they want. And there you go. That is the big sign on the building, is in Comic Sans. So that is, and here's one. Actually, this is the, I believe that La Marcelita was using this building. These are actually cut out, so this is a little bit older. We don't see as many of this on the brand new ones, but look at that Comic Sans full signage on the building. Now, it's not in pink in this particular case. They're using the blue, but we got the Comic Sans. So that gives you a little idea of what it's like here in Nicaragua. We really have a lot of pink and Comic Sans all over the place, and it's interesting. And so that is about it. That was it. Yeah, Unit says, there you go, Pepto. Jan says, Maxi pink, but inside is quite neutral from the other photos. One would hope. Like, that is not a color you want on the inside of a hospital. That would be a lot. On the outside of a building to help you identify the building and see it and everything, that's fine, but inside would be wild. All right. Well, not a lot of people on tonight, I don't think, and this was very much an ad hoc. I just wanted to get on and do the show. So that was about it. All right, everyone, have a good night. This just hit me because the U.S. was announcing their new font, and I wanted to jump on and get the show done. I'm heading back to do Stranger Things. Remember, we do the big live stream on Thursdays, so make sure to join us there. If you want to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Scott Allen Miller. I never put that in the chat. I'm going to do so. Buymeacoffee.com/Scott Allen Miller. It's like Patreon, comes directly to me, helps support the channel and all the work that we do here. If you are going to be here in Leon this Friday, I will be at Via Via here in Leon to see Haiti Gallo and the Roosters. Yes, her last name is Gallo, which means rooster, so she is Haiti Rooster and the Roosters. Definitely an awesome show, one of my favorite bands. Lots of fun. Go out and join us at Via Via. I will be there with Nicaragua recording. Check out Nicaragua.com. If you have not signed up yet, get yourself an account on there and follow some people. And no, Tony, not 3 or 4 hours, but Thursday we will be doing quite a lot. And as always, get in those comments, say hello, send in a video of yourself